Hello everyone, I'll skip my introduction. I have probably given already many times. So today I'm going to show you demo about adaptive card extension to show current logged in users upcoming shift based on a select team. So the whole idea here of kind of creating this demo was or sample was to wherein a client, when we were showing them the Viva connection cards, they were saying that is there any option we would be able to make the adaptive card extension configurable based on the user's preference and not on the admin's preference. And then I started exploring and I was trying to find a use case. And I know we already have a Shift adaptive card extension available out of the box, but this is just an extended version to that. And in this, what we are doing is we are showing all the upcoming shift in quick view and the immediate upcoming shift in the card view. And we will configure it based on the user's preference, and this user preference we are storing it in the application root folder of the SPFx in the user's OneDrive in the SPFx web client accessibility preference. I'll talk about it in a few time. And it's basically to kind of give a personalized experience in the Viva connection board. And there's also a configurable option to whether show the shift title or date as label. Okay, in terms of exploring the concept, it was more like calling the Graph API from the adaptive card extension and using Graph API to store and read the user's settings in the application personal folder, usage of multiple quick views, and state management. I would like to call out a blog from Weldec through which I was able to get the reference on how to easily store the user settings in the user's OneDrive. So this is the link to that particular blog where he has nicely said how we would be able to use it in here. Quickly going to the demo. So I have kind of everything set it up. So this is my dashboard, for example, and this is the adaptive card extension we are talking about. So what it is doing is it is getting a shift from the local, from the selected or the configured team here. This would be the immediate shift, which would be upcoming for the current logged in user. If you click on view all, you would be able to see all the other shift, which would be kind of coming in the recent times. And you will also have an option to configure the team. So basically, this is what the whole idea was, to make the adaptive card extension configurable based on the current logged in user. So I can choose and I can go and find configure a different teams here. And if I click on save, if you see the adaptive card extension has kind of getting shift from a different teams itself. So this was the whole idea of kind of creating it. And if we see the data where the configurable, in this case I just need to have the current logged in the configured teams ID, which from where we have to get the shifts. It is stored here as an shift via settings.json file. It is nothing but a simple attribute to store the selected team ID in the user's OneDrive so that it would be configurable based on the logged in user. So coming to the code walkthrough, what we do is basically we kind of register certain views here. By default, there will be one card view and multiple quick view. One quick view to show all the upcoming shift. Then there is a quick view to show the configurable team drop-down option. And there is a success message when user clicks on a particular select or configure a particular team. Then this is the second method, just to initialize the graph client. The next method is where we basically kind of first get the current logged in user information, his join team. And then we are able to, we are trying to get the settings.json file from the app root folder. And if it is not found, it means the user has not yet configured the adaptive card extension. And we are just showing the title like, your card has not been configured. Please select a team button to select the particular team. But if we already found that, it means we would get an HTTP URL to that particular JSON file. So in this case, to note here is that we will not be making the Graph API call, but to make the HTTP call to directly read that file as in the content of the file in the response, and then use that JSON to basically set the selected team ID and the whole JSON as it is, right? Next, coming to once we have the team ID, which is basically user has configured, we have to make an Graph API call to team/team ID/schedule/shift, wherein we are getting all the shared shift which start time is greater than now. And then we are filtering based on the current logged in user so that we only able to see the shift which are assigned to us. And then it's just if the length is 0, we are saying you don't have any upcoming shift, enjoy your family time kind of thing. And coming to the card view is again based on what is the state of the current data. If there is an error code, it means we did not found any shift, and we can just tell them that probably user might choose a shift team where shift app itself is not configured. Then we can show this error message. If the length is greater than 0, and if the configurable option is to show date or title in the label, then we would basically kind of choose what to display as the primary text and description in the card view. And these are pretty simple things wherein if there is an error, we would basically display error, and by the time data is getting, we are just displaying loading. Then the next thing is in the card view. Yeah, in the card view, the buttons which are there. So there are two scenarios here. Either we would be only showing the configure button if there is no shift available, but if there is shifts available, it would be view all button plus the configure teams button. And this is the configure teams view, which basically kind of shows the drop down. So more or less what we need to send here is the teams which the current logged in has joined or is part of, and the selected team ID to basically pre-configure the selected team when user clicks on configure teams button. This is the adaptive card. It's again simple, a choice set adaptive card where we have data being passed as the teams and the display name to be displayed in the drop down and the ID corresponding to it. And on save button, we would basically pass the ID to basically save it. So in action, this is where we are actually storing the selected team ID. Again, same thing, we would have to make a put request to that particular file with the data which we have, which would be just this shift team ID. And once it is saved, we are making the graph API call again to basically change the state and everything. The next is submit message. This is very simple. As soon as user has clicked on saved, we are just showing the saved successfully error success message onto the view. Then on click of action, we are just closing the view, the success message view. The next thing is the quick view, where actually we are displaying the list of all the upcoming shifts. In this, what we need is we need to pass all the shifts which are there, the title of the quick view, the subtitle, and the description. And the adaptive card is where all the magic happens for how we are kind of displaying all the upcoming shift in a simple list view to show the display name, to show the start time, to show the end time. So all of this is more or less related to adaptive card extension, and just kind of create the adaptive card JSON and just dynamically passing data to it. Then this is the property pane configuration, where we have to choose whether we want to show the label as date or a title. So if, for example, if what we are seeing here is now the title of the particular shift, but if we want to choose and show only date, that is also kind of configurable here. Then the next thing is the again kind of in the card view, where we are just showing whether based on the condition which I have shown. And the last thing I wanted to show here is that because we are using different graph APIs, we would have to configure the permissions in the package.solution so that the SPFx solution which we would build would be able to get the data from the graph API. And this is again typical what we do with an SPFx web part itself. So yeah, I tried to make as soon as possible, but if any queries or anything, I would love to hear that. Over to you. Thanks, Patrick.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much. Great stuff as always. So encourage folks to check out that code for really excellent examples of using those adaptive card extensions.